everybody, this is Peter from Pattern Boldness. Today I want to do a demo of a Singer buttonholer. It's this buttonhole attachment that actually dates back to the late 1930s. It's an all-metal buttonholer that allows you to adjust the density of the stitch, the size of the hole between the stitching, and the width of the buttonhole itself. So it's a really wonderful buttonholer. It doesn't use templates. Unfortunately, it doesn't make a keyhole buttonhole, but it does just about everything else. Many of you are probably familiar with this buttonholer, which comes in this green plastic case. It's metal and plastic. This was a very popular buttonholer. The buttonholer I'm going to show you today is even older, and I think even more special. So, enjoy! Let's take a look at this old Singer buttonhole that dates back to the late 1930s. This is labeled bite, okay? It goes from wide to narrow. The bite is the width of the stitching on the buttonhole. The space here, which is also labeled from W, wide, to N, narrow, controls the center space. There's a screw here that controls the density of the stitches themselves. So it's basically whether you're going to have a very densely stitched buttonhole or a less densely stitched buttonhole. Now on the other side, this butterfly nut, I believe it's called, controls the actual length of the buttonhole. And you can go from a very short to a very relatively long buttonhole. And this actually just moves the buttonholer to the top of the buttonhole where you want to start stitching. So now let's attach it, and we're going to make some buttonholes. My buttonholer is attached, and now I'm going to make a buttonhole. And off we go. You can hear that the buttonholer is very, very smooth. And you can see it shift the fabric back and forth in a zigzag pattern as it forms the buttonhole. And I usually like to go not too quickly so that I can control what's going on. I'm going around the buttonhole twice. And of course there is a little vibration on this sewing machine table where I have my sewing machine set up. And there you have what looks like a very nice buttonhole. Now I'm going to make a buttonhole that's just ever so slightly narrower, so that the zigzag is going to be narrower. The size of the space I haven't changed at all. And I think I'm going to go around twice. The stitch itself is at its densest. So if I wanted to make the stitching less dense, I can easily control that. I hope this isn't making people dizzy. Now I'm going to do a buttonhole that's slightly narrower still, slightly narrower stitch width, and slightly narrower hole. And you know, I'm only going to go around once, so that the buttonhole itself is not quite as thick. So this would be, say, for a fine cotton shirt. That's a very nice buttonhole. I think you can see the difference that as we move from left to right, the buttonhole gets narrower and the stitch width is less thick. I'm going to make one more buttonhole that's ever so slightly narrower still, and I always start my buttonholer with the needle already in the fabric. So I sink my needle into the fabric and then I start my buttonholer. And off we go. The mechanism is very smooth, and of course so is my Singer 201. And I'm going to go around just once. Now we're going to do a buttonhole with a medium bite, meaning the width of the stitches, and the widest space. So let's see how that comes out. I just love how smooth this buttonholer stitches. You can see the back and forth zigzag. And I'm doing this on a Singer 201, whose feed dogs drop, which is convenient. And there you can see quite clearly that there's quite a wide space. And that might be too wide. We really don't need the space to be any wider than what we can comfortably cut through. Let's go around a second time, which I very often do. And that's a nice, very clearly defined buttonhole. Could I go faster than this? Yeah, I probably could, but this feels like a comfortable speed both for me and for the machine. Here's the box that the buttonholer came in, and it comes with a screw to attach it if you need that. You can usually use just the regular screw that attaches your presser foot. This plate will cover up the feed dogs if your feed dogs don't drop by themselves. I'm fortunate that on my Singer 201, my feed dogs do drop by themselves. Here's the instruction booklet. It's very well written. It's copyrighted 1939, 1940, 1941, 1946 by the Singer Manufacturing Company. And it tells you how to use the buttonholer, what all the various screws and levers are for, how to start a buttonhole, how to control the tension, how to make an extra strong buttonhole by going around more than once, how to make buttonholes that are longer than 1 inch. And you can make a buttonhole up to 1 7/8 inch, so that's almost 2 inches. It even shows you all the various parts which at one time you could purchase if you needed to replace them on your buttonholer. So can you imagine? This buttonholer was really made to last probably forever. And here it is, more than 70 years later, and it still works perfectly.